All right, so this is my review of Kill la Kill Ryuko Matoi from BUZZmod, and I got mine from Mohime Toys, Japan. Um, so I pre-ordered mine a while back, probably around holiday season. I forget when exactly, but I got mine around January, and I believe it's supposed to come in this month, stateside. So in terms of price, well, it's a little bit of a it's all a bit crazy now given the tariffs and everything. So the price that I was quoted for this one was around 13,200 yen with Mohime shipping, which also went up because of the tariffs. That came to around 18,100 yen. With the additional charges they had with the tariffs, it came to a total of around 22,720 yen. So this figure was $151, which is just straight ridiculous. So these tariffs are bullshit, and they're very shitty. Like, they're just ruining this hobby. And I really did cut down on the number of figures I'm buying, mainly because the price it's just not worth it. Like, at the end of the day, these are all cool and everything, but they're toys. Anyway, so that's just off on a tangent. Ridiculous price does not reflect what I feel like this figure is worth. Not saying it's a bad figure at all, just things are getting a little shitty out there and pretty annoying. Anyway, so let's just talk about the figure itself. And yeah, so from BUZZmod, and don't mind the glove, it's just that I have a bit of dry skin, which I'm self-conscious about. And let's get a close look. So, as usual, BUZZmod figures look great, I think. I did switch her faceplate, just put more of a neutral face, and I also just changed the torso accessory just to match what she usually wears in the show. Not a fan of this fabric stuff. I feel like it really wasn't necessary on this figure. That being said, and I'm probably in the minority here. I'm not a big fan of like the wired fabric unless it's like a cape. That's pretty much it. So I feel like this could have just been plastic. It's to its credit, it's not really getting in the way at all, and it is good for posing, but I feel like I would have preferred just, plastic with like a, discreet cut in it, but that's just me. Anyway, but, undeniable, it does have certain advantages like, posing and stuff, and you don't need like a unsightly cut. So it's, I guess it's kind of growing on me. This one was very minimalist. It doesn't get in the way. So, let's see. And I mean, she looks great. If you watch the show, or rather, if you didn't watch the show, give it a try. It's pretty funny. Very funny, actually, and definitely a fun watch. I'm actually near the end. Didn't get a chance to finish it, but definitely something on my radar. Yes, I think she looks great. And I do have the Figma of her in the actual armor. And I gotta say, I feel like this figure is a lot less finicky, just in general. Feels a little bit more solid, I'd say. The Figma is great, but again, that's a very old figure, so probably not the most fair comparison. I would have preferred to get that figure out, but honestly, it's under a mountain of other figures that I have, and I just don't have the time to find her. I have Satsuki also from Figma, both excellent figures, but again, they're pretty old. Anyway, so let's just talk about how tall she is. So let's see. A little bit above 5 inches, like say sitting just under 5.5 inches at eye level. So pretty good size to her. And she does not feel cheap. And since I always weigh the figures, not going to change that now. Let me just find my scale. It's covered in dust, given my hiatuses. But let's see how much she weighs. Okay. She's definitely got a good feel to her. She doesn't feel cheap at all. 1.3 ounces, pretty light. But again, for her size, she feels hefty. I wouldn't say hefty. She's got quality to her, I'd say. Doesn't feel like a model kit. Let's talk about her articulation. Let me just get this sword out of her hand. So head is on double ball peg, and it does have a ball swivel in there. You can see that. So a little swivel there, and then that is connected on a little ball peg inside too. Neck is also, appears to be on a ball peg also. Yep, looks like it is. So head gets decent movement, I'd say. It's just that, you know, given the hair is pretty rough plastic, not as good as it could be, I'd say. Like, can't really get a lot of tilt given the hard plastic. Torso is on a ball joint. And they kind of use these old-fashioned joints, which I'm not really a fan of. I'd say for, you know, given that we're in 2026 and, you know, looking at some other companies, they work, right? Like these Figma style joints, they definitely work. I'm not complaining about them, but they do kind of throw off the look a bit. Like, you know, you could start making it look like a robot if, you know, you don't hide the joints there. Not a huge issue. I'm still fine with them, but again, probably could innovate a bit. On the point of our joints, they're all, they do what they're supposed to. Like, you don't get any butterfly movement out of these, which is, you know, another negative. But they do come up this much. And if we're talking about the elbow bend, pretty limited, really 90 degrees, which I think is a little inexcusable for a figure that's, you know, this, I guess, slender. Like, you know, you'd expect a very, very good elbow joint there, which this does not have at all. And again, when you think about the price, it's very unacceptable. So, unfortunate. Wrists are just on the standard ball swivel. And yes, you figure the skirt's already kind of got dust on it and stuff. So, a little annoying. That's a little, you know, an annoying part of having the fabric stuff, which you wouldn't have to worry about with the plastic. Legs split out about that much. Might be able to go more if she didn't have the skirt on. Pretty good double bend in the knee. Let me see. She does have, that is connected. That's definitely a ball joint where her ankle kind of meets. And you do have a nice swiveling joint here. And you do get an ankle rocker on that too. So pretty good setup in the legs. Kind of reminds me of like the Naruto figures for SHF. Their ankles are amazing. Feels like hers are kind of using the same setup. Yep. So decent articulation. And yeah, she does have a ball joint in the lower bit also. So there's that too. Yeah, decent articulation. Be careful making her kind of crunch down like that. You want to, like, you know, get paint rub and stuff like that. Always be careful of that with, like, you know, the crunching movements. But decent articulation. And I will go over her accessories. And yeah, she's not like a terrible fuss to get standing. So I'll just start with the one that I had on her in the beginning. I forgot the name of this thing, but kind of like scissor sword or whatever it was called. Looks nice. You do get instructions, but they're kind of useless because they're in Japanese, unless you know how to read that. She does get this kind of like suitcase, which she carries her outfit in. You just plug that attachment in, and that's pretty cool, I think. So you could get her to wear it. Get that. You do get the extended version of the sword. I think that looks pretty cool. Definitely nice. You do get her alternate kind of like school uniform when she's not fighting and stuff. Mine did have a little mark there, which is, you know, unfortunate, because at this price, you know, you kind of expect perfection in the 1/12 scale, and even then, it's just too much given all the tariffs and crap. But yeah, it looks really cool though. Like the nice decals, nice paintwork, very crisp lines and things like that. So that looks cool. This is what she comes, you know, if you buy the figure, that's what she's going to be wearing. I just switched out. Very easy to switch out, by the way. You just kind of unpeg her torso. And that's another thing. BUZZmod, they might be pricey, but their joint tolerances are always good, like from my experience. And I have a few of them. Very smooth joints. You don't feel like anything's gonna break. Everything has like perfect consistency on this figure. There's no like loosey-goosey nonsense. It's just perfect. Like very smooth joints. I'd say even better than Figma, honestly. So yeah, very, very nice, you know. BUZZmod's pretty high quality, usually, I'd say. Let me just show you her other hands here. So for the gloved hand, let's get the camera to focus. Yeah, so you do get kind of like an open hand, like an extended open hand. Let me show you the other side there. So this is kind of just like a fist type. A little sloppy with the paint work here, honestly. Like you can see paint bleed there. That's a little ugly. You get kind of like an open hand for holding something. And the other side, pretty much the same deal. And then just the other hands that I have on already. So she does come with fist, obviously, gloved and ungloved. And what I have on her right now is just the open hand. Oh, sorry, weapon holding hand, and then just a generic open hand for the red, for like the gloves. So not bad, pretty decent. Very easy to get her standing. That's nice. Yep. And she does come with kind of like alternate leg accessories if you wanted to like kind of like sit kneeling down. You know, you just take these out and just kind of peg her leg in there like that if you wanted her to like kneel down or whatever. So that's pretty cool. And she comes with for both legs, obviously. So you do get that. I'm probably not going to use that at all. Comes with a very nice kind of yelling face. I think that looks great. Very cool. Get kind of like the, you know, just generic smiling face. Also very clean, I think. And you do get this face, which is probably more character accurate. Probably my favorite of the bunch, because that's probably the face she has on like throughout most of the show. Very cool. Yeah, it's a great show. Like very funny, very outlandish. If you're into that type of stuff. And she does kind of get like this more serious face, which I just left on her. So pretty good figure, I'd say. Very smooth figure. Very, you know, decent posing. Could be better with like the elbows and things like that. Doesn't feel cheap at all. It's a BUZZmod. Definitely overpriced, even without the tariffs. You know, I don't think a 5-inch figure should be like $100, or anywhere close to it, honestly. But you know, this hobby's not going to get cheaper, unfortunately. Anyway, if you have comments, if you have any questions, definitely let me know. I'm going to try to upload more regularly. My schedule did free up a bit. So yeah, I do have a bunch of figures on backlog that I want to get through. And this was one of them. So hopefully more to come. Anyway, thanks for watching and take care.